Hello everyone. Today we are going to understand a very important topic, that is subject-verb agreement. It affects the formation of sentences. So let us start now. In order to understand what is the relation between subject and verb, we need to first understand what a subject actually is and then move on to what a verb is. Before we do that, let us read the given sentences carefully. The first one, Rita is a good girl. In this sentence, the subject here is Rita. Why Rita is the subject? Because subject is the person or the thing about whom we are talking, or it is the person or thing which is doing an action in the sentence, the doer of action. In this sentence, that is Rita is a good girl, there is no action being done. Here we are talking about a girl named Rita. So who are we talking about? We are talking about Rita. That is why Rita is the subject of the sentence. Now, what is a verb? Verb is the action being done in the sentence. Somebody is playing. Playing is a verb. Eat is a verb. Sleep is a verb. Slap is a verb. All these are verbs. But it is not always necessary that a sentence will always show an action being done. We might be talking about somebody like we are doing here in this sentence. We are talking about the subject, that is Rita. Rita is a good girl. There is no action verb in this sentence. So here in this sentence, verb is is. That's the verb over here. So verbs are used to depict actions. They can also be used to show possession. And we can also use verbs as B form of verbs. What are B form of verbs? B form of verbs are is, am, are, was, were. All these are B form of verbs. So here in this sentence, we have used a B form of verb, that is is. So Rita is the subject and is the verb. Always remember, you need to be very careful about the subject-verb agreement. They are shaking hands with each other. What does that mean? That means that if your subject is singular, that is one person, if there is only one person performing the task, doing the task, or only one person we are talking about, that means our subject is singular. Always remember, with a singular subject, we always use a singular verb. Verb will always be singular. Like in this sentence, Rita is just one girl about whom we are talking. Rita is the subject. And the verb that we have used with a singular subject is. And is also a singular verb. It is a B form of verb. Is, am. Both of them are singular verbs. Are is a plural form of verb. Was is a singular verb. Were is a plural form of be verb. Moving on to the next example. Rita and Reena are good friends. Now, whom are we talking about in this sentence? Yes, we are talking about two people here, Rita and Reena. Both of them are our subject in the sentence. But here, the subject is not singular. Here we have two girls. We're talking about two girls. So that's a plural subject. And what is the verb over here? The verb over here is are, A-R-E-R. Again, a B form of verb. And as I told you, are is a plural form of verb. So we again come back to the same thing, that if the subject is plural, our verb will be plural. So I hope this thing is very clear to you all. This is what is subject-verb agreement, that if your subject is singular, you will use a singular verb with it. And if the subject is plural, you will use a plural verb with it. Like in the second sentence, we have two people here, that is Rita and Reena. It's a plural subject. So with a plural subject, we cannot use a singular verb. You cannot write Rita and Reena is good friends. That's wrong. You have to use a plural verb over here. Always remember, collective nouns. In case of collective nouns, they are considered to be singular subject. I'm sure you must be thinking about what are collective nouns. For that, you can just watch my video based on nouns. But for now, I'll let you know collective nouns are a group together. For example, a herd of cattle, a bunch of keys. So these words, herd and bunch, they are collective nouns. And we consider collective nouns to be singular subject. And with singular subjects, we always use singular verb. So for collective nouns, the verb that will follow them will always be singular. Now, let us learn the use of verbs, that is the subject-verb agreement in case when the subject is a personal pronoun. What are personal pronouns? For that again, you can just go through the video that I have there on pronouns. Personal pronouns. Personal pronouns can be divided into three categories: first person, second person, and third person. I have explained these in detail in that video there. Who is the first person? First person is the person who is talking. Second person is the person who is listening. That means first person, when that first person is talking, definitely he's talking to somebody. So that somebody is the second person. And third person is the person about whom they both are talking. So first person, let's move on to the first person first of all. Now if subject in the sentence is a first person, let us take examples of first person. There are two first person pronouns, I and we. If I'm talking, I'm the one who's speaking, then the first person's personal pronoun over here will be I. And if I am talking along with somebody else, that means in case of plural subject, it changes to we. I repeat, first person personal pronouns are I and we. So if you have I in the sentence, that is singular. We know I means one person. So that means your subject is singular. So with a singular subject, we always use a singular verb. And the singular verb to be used with I is am. You know this word am, it's a special word. It has been made only for I. We never use am with anything else. It is only used with I. So it is a special verb created only for I. So if your subject is I, then you will use this verb am with it. But if you're talking about something that you've done in the past, this will change to was. You can also use have or had with the subject I. I repeat again, if your subject is I, then you can use these verbs given in green color over here. They are am. You can write I am, I was, I have, I had. All these four verbs can be used with this first person personal pronoun. In case your personal pronoun, that is the subject in the sentence, is we, then with we use are, were, have and had as the verb. It depends on the tense of the sentence. If you're talking about something in the present with we, the subject, if your subject is we, then the verb will be are. We are. If you're talking about something that's already done, it's in the past. So we were. We have. We had. So these are the verbs that you can use with we. We are, we were, we have, and we had. So these are the subjects and the verbs to be used with them if your sentence has a subject which is a first person personal pronoun. Now second person. Second person is the person to whom we are talking. And second person personal pronoun, it's only one, that is you. Always remember, second person means you. Now, what are the verbs that you can use with the second person personal pronoun? That means with you in simple language, with you, what are the verbs that you can use? If you're talking about something in the present, you will write are, past, were, have, and had. You are, you were, you have, and you had. Now here I'll give you one very important tip. This word you, it's a naughty word. Doesn't like to follow any rules. And the best part is you always considers itself to be a plural word. It always takes itself to be a plural word. That is why if you observe, all the verbs that it is picking up over here are plural verbs. So register this somewhere in your mind. You means a plural subject, and with plural subjects we always use plural verbs. Moving on to the third person personal pronouns. Third person is the person about whom we are talking. So third person personal pronouns can be he, she, it, they. If you're talking about a boy, if you're talking about in the sentence about a boy, that means he. Girl, she. If you're talking about a thing, animal, then it. And if you're talking about more than one person, they. That means he, she, it, they are singular subjects and they is a plural subject. Let us first deal with the singular subject in third person. He, she, it. What are the verbs that we will use with them? Since the subject is singular, definitely the verb has to be singular verb. So the verbs that you can use over here are is for present, was for past, has and had. So you can use he is, she was, it has, he had. These are the verbs that you can use with third person personal pronouns. Now moving on to the plural subject, that is they. With plural subject, you always have to use a plural verb. This is the key to it. Always remember, singular subject, singular verb. Plural subject, plural verb. Now since your subject over here is they, which is plural, so we are going to use plural verbs with it. What are plural verbs here? Are, they are, they were, they have, they had. So here if you observe the table carefully, I'm sure you'll be very clear about it, that one golden rule you have to follow: singular subject, singular verb, plural subject, plural verb. And this is how you can use them with personal pronouns given in the sentence. Now let us discuss certain points that you need to remember for subject-verb agreement. Point number 1. Always remember nouns denoting food, clothing, furniture and stationery. They are singular nouns. That means they are singular subjects and will always take a singular verb. Look at the example given here. The furniture is polished. Here the subject is the furniture. And furniture is always considered as singular. That is why we have used a singular verb over here, that is. Moving on to the next point, that is when a lot of or plenty of is used to indicate quantity, it takes a singular verb. That means whenever we are using these words a lot of or plenty of, then we have to see if they are indicating quantity. Then in that case, the verb used with them will always be a singular verb. Let us take an example for the same. A lot of coffee has been added to the milk. Over here, these words, a lot of. What are they indicating? They are indicating the quantity of coffee that has been added to the milk. So we're talking about quantity. So whenever we are talking about quantity, we always use singular verb, that is has. That is why this verb has been used over here. But when we are using these words a lot of and plenty of to talk about numbers, then in that case we will use plural verbs. Let us take an example for the same. A lot of pens. So here we are using these words to tell there are many pens there. A lot of pens. Number over here has been used. So in that case, your verb will always be plural. That is why the verb used over here is are. A lot of pens are lying on the table. It's a plural verb. Always remember, in case of quantity, we will use singular verb, and in case of number, we will use plural verbs. If we are using these words a lot of or plenty of. Moving on to the next one, always remember news is always regarded as a singular subject and takes a singular verb. Now you must be wondering, the word over here is news. S is there in the end and S means plural. No, news is always considered to be singular, and since it is singular, the verb will also be singular verb. Let us take an example for the same. This is breaking news. News is the subject and that's singular. That is why singular verb is has been used over here. Next one of is always considered as a singular subject. Now these words one of means, of course, one out of many, one. So it is a singular subject and will always be followed by a singular verb. Let us take an example for the same. One of the girls is known to me. One of is singular subject and is also a singular verb. So we are matching with our subject verb agreement here. Now this is something very simple. If there are two subjects in a sentence, that means your subject is plural. And if your subject is plural, the verb used with it will also be plural. Let us take an example for that. Vikram and Vinay are friends. So here we are talking about two boys, Vikram and Vinay. So the subject over here is plural. And with the plural subject, we have a plural verb are over here. But remember, if the two subjects given in your sentence are regarded as one, if they are considered as one, then that subject is not a plural subject. Then the subject is a singular subject. And with a singular subject, we use a singular verb. Let us take an example for the same. Bread and butter is good for breakfast. So here we are talking about breakfast, and what are we saying? We are saying bread and butter is good for breakfast. So bread and butter, they are considered to be one over here. It's a singular subject. And with a singular subject, we always use a singular verb. That is why we have used is as a verb in this sentence. When the name of a country or book or a film is denoted in a plural noun, it is used with a singular verb. Let us take an example to understand this better. The United Kingdom Now over here, your noun is a plural noun. United Kingdom. There are two words given over here. But yes, the United Kingdom means what? It is one country together. We're talking about one only. So definitely it's a singular subject, and with a singular subject we will be using a singular verb, that is has. The United Kingdom has launched a new satellite in space. People, police and cattle are considered as plural because, of course, group of persons together, they are known as people. Police, the complete police force together is known as police. Cattle, we all know they are a group. So these three words are always considered to be plural, and we use a plural verb with them. Let us take an example for the same. The cattle were grazing in the field. Since cattle is a plural subject, so we've used plural verb were over here. When a plural number is used for distance, weight, and amount of money as a single figure or quantity, it is considered singular. And since it is singular, it takes a singular verb. What do we mean by plural number? Plural number means more than one. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these numbers are what? They're plurals. Whenever we use these numbers to talk about distance, weight, or money as a single figure. For example, if I say 100 kilometers, I'm talking about one distance. If I'm saying 60 kg, I'm talking about one weight. 60 kg mangoes or 60 kg, we can say rice. I'm talking about one thing. So actually the subject will be one only. It will be singular. And with a singular subject, we use a singular verb. Let us take this example given here. 3 years. We're talking about 3 years, but we are denoting them as one. We are talking about 3 years altogether. So 3 years is considered to be singular, and that is why the verb over here has been used as is. 3 years is a long time. Whenever we use a pair of scissors, a pair of jeans, a pair of socks, whenever we use these words a pair of, we use a singular verb with them. Because a pair of, we use this a pair of to denote two things, but they are not separable. You cannot separate them. Can you use scissors by only one side of it? No, we cannot. Can you wear only one socks? No, you have to wear a pair of socks. They are inseparable, and since they cannot be separated, they are considered as one. They are considered as a singular subject, and with a singular subject, we use a singular verb. For example, a pair of scissors is kept there. A pair of scissors means one. And since it's singular, that is why with the verb over here is also singular. Is. I hope you all have understood this topic well and will be able to shake hands with subject-verb agreement. Thank you so much, and do remember to subscribe, share and like my channel. Let me know if you have any comments and in case you want videos on some other topic. Bye for now.